Good morning. Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. Welcome to Monday. Happy market open. So last week, Jackson Hole sent the market up. This morning, markets are down in pre-market. Bitcoin dumped. So we're going to take a look at, real quick, we're going to look at 4 charts today. We're going to look at SOFI. We're going to look at Bitcoin. And then we're going to look at a couple software names. I think software is going to bottom out this week. I think it's ready to get out of this narrative that AI is going to disrupt it. There are certain brands that AI can't disrupt. People trust these brands. They're going to go to these brands when they want results. They're not going anywhere, and AI is only going to enhance them. That is my thesis on some of these. So without further ado, let's start with SOFI. All right, so this is drawn on a weekly, so let's go to a weekly. You could see last week, we're up into the GAN. And it's not so bad being in GAN ARC jail when you're at the bottom of it. And in pre-market, this seems like the only stock in my whole portfolio just about that is still up in pre-market because of how much it ran in overnight trading on Sunday. Now let's take a look at the 4-hour. It kind of paints a little bit better of a picture here. You see it retested, rejected. Now it doesn't know what it wants to do here. So I could see it coming back down and retesting 2475 or something like that before continuing higher. But the strength that SoFi has been showing, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 2775 maybe tippy tapping the all-time high at around 2818 or whatever it is in the near future here. I could see this run up, tap this, but ultimately what I think happens, because just the run up has been insane on this name before we really get to levels higher. So I think we could potentially, you could see us get all the way up here. But then I think we got to revisit the GAN angle at some point inside of this GAN arc right here before continuing higher. Now what's cool is all of that is really nice to know, but at the end of the day, what I think is going to happen is it's going to tap this. It's going to run up this thing. You might have parabolic moves, but then you're going to have moves that come down to reality. And this line, I do believe, is going to be your reality going forward. And 52 weeks out from today, or from the candle close of last week, is 78% higher. So if you think that you missed SoFi, I don't think you did. And that's why, even though my lowest buys were down in like the $6 zone, I've been averaging up. My average is now, I think, at like $12 to $14, somewhere in there. I bought kind of in this region right here. Actually, I bought all along the way, but I pushed my average up because it was still undervalued. And I'll probably continue buying, even though, so for the people that missed this down here and they're like, oh, this thing is still moving, I'm still buying. I thought that like for sure we would come down and see $18 again. I don't think we're ever going to see $18 again. Now that we're in here, unless there's some kind of crazy market move or whatever market wide, I think that $18 is long gone, and we're pretty much at the new support levels right now. That's what it's looking like. At the same time, the weekly RSI is at like 80. So, but it got all the way up to 86 right here. So it could get up to 86, pop up there, tap that, come down. All right, I'm repeating myself. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin had an interesting moment yesterday. Not a lot of liquidity on a Sunday. Some whale came out and said F you and tanked the market. And now because we were ejected off this GAN arc here, and I'm going to go back to a weekly chart here. Because we rejected, see all these wicks, all that price rejection out of the GAN arc, it looks like price action symmetrically wants to come back down to the GAN angle. And whether you get that this week or next week or at all, it remains to be seen, but it would appear that that's what price wants to do. If it were to happen this week, that price lies right around $103,500. So perhaps we have to come down, retest this GAN angle before continuing higher. And before you get nervous about whether this Gann angle is going to hold. Let's just take a look. Zoom out here. So this Gann angle has been holding since the market bottom, pretty much since November of 2022. And I do believe this Gann angle is real because that explains the very symmetrical, controlled grind higher, which is a little strange for, well, I don't want to say it's a little strange for Bitcoin. It's not like it's never done it before. Like it did it back here before it went parabolic. But it is a little interesting how for like, since the bottom, it's had parabolic moments, but it's pretty much return to this, return to this, return to this. So that's my expectation moving forward. I don't think we're going to fall down and come back down to the next Gann angle down here at 12,000 or something. So, if it were to come down to that Gann angle this week, I might buy some Bitcoin, At the same time, I might look at Ethereum or some of my altcoins, and it might look the same because they're so highly correlated, and just buy that instead because the reward tends to be higher for the risk, especially this close to altcoin season. All right, let's take a look at some software names. CrowdStrike is what I want to look at. We've looked at this a few times. As you know, like on the linear scale, we tagged and actually closed under the 1.618 Fibonacci level, which does correlate with this fairly large volume shelf, and that's why I bought some right there. We did eventually come down to this logarithmic Fibonacci level, and we do have earnings on Wednesday. So this could go two different ways. It could come down to touch, which would be at about 385 if it did touch this Gann angle. But like if earnings sends it down that way, I see that as the bottom. So it could be a fake out earnings. So if you see good earnings on Wednesday, beat, double beat, triple beat raise guidance, and then the stock is down at 385, and you there's just like why would it go down there? And then someone, you'll see some news article explaining why it happened. Just know that Risky Ryan is buying right there because this is like exactly where I would be buying this because this Gann angle is held up over time. And I was already buying here at about I think that was like 418 or so. Because if we go 52 weeks out, even from where the price is today, 52 weeks, you're up 43% from here. So I like it. If I can get 42% on a name like CrowdStrike, I'll take it. And then the other name that I recently initiated, I think it's like a 3.5% position in my portfolio now, is Salesforce. And Salesforce, look at this weekly bottoming pattern. Beautiful. Textbook. That's a textbook bottom pattern. And if I go to a monthly, which is what I have my Gann drawn at, and I zoom out, you're going to see that we've been on the long journey since the 2008 financial crisis to return back to this Gann angle, in which we touched in the 2022 bear market, popped up, and now we're touching again. This has served as critical support during the two largest downturns in this, or two of some of the largest downturns in history of the stock market. And so I bought because Salesforce is a good company, and I think its problems are temporary, and I think it's up from here. And look at this. Look at the monthly candle, the way that it's sitting right now. It wicked below, rejected off, like this coming down below this Gann angle. We still got 5 more days left in the month. And so earnings is next week. I think that we eventually get back into this Gann arc. I think this is bottom, guys. So I bought. And Salesforce a well-loved company by many other people that I respect in the market. So I consider it to be safe, between my analysis and theirs. And if I come 12 months out, I'm getting about 24%, which is a pretty damn good return for Salesforce. I also think it's going to do a lot better than that in the short term, but I think that this buying here, you get like a 24% CAGR going forward, because it could, like I said, it could revisit the scan angle. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you all to all the new subscribers. Be sure to hit the like button. It helps me the channel out immensely. Trying to get to 500 subscribers, so hit the subscribe if you enjoy this video. Comment below if there's any other charts that you'd like me to take a look at. And follow me on X. I do share a bunch of stuff that I don't have time to share on the YouTube channel, so go follow me there on Risky Ryan Trades. And until next time, Risky Ryan out.